So today we're making some of our parts for the Volkswagen shift linkage. These are called shift rod bearings. This is what the original factory piece looks like. It's a molded polyurethane part. This is the bracket that sits under the car. It has a piece normally riveted on here that holds this shift rod bearing in the middle, and it's basically a spherical bearing, I guess you would call it. And the idea is this bearing can rotate a little bit. It's got a little bit of alignment capability. So here's your assembled bracket, and here's our shift rod bearing. These are a little slipperier, so it's easier to demonstrate here. But what you have is back here, this is underneath the shifter, and as you shift the shifter forward and backward, it goes in and out, and then you can also shift the lever side to side, like you go first gear. Let's see, first gear would be back. You shift the shifter forward, but the bottom of the shift lever goes back, and then you would shift to second, it would go up, and then you would shift over to third, which would kick this over the opposite direction. That's why it has to move like that. It has to rotate and then allow in and out motion. And so yeah, anyway, that's the original part. The problem is the exhaust pipe is like right next to this thing. So there's a hot exhaust pipe like that far away from this polyurethane part, and it just gets cooked over time to where this thing gets brittle, and then it starts cracking and falling apart. Once that piece falls apart, you've just got this rod flopping around in here. There's nothing holding it. So on the early model Volkswagens, you can't purchase this part separately. You've got to buy this whole bracket because it's riveted together. So I guess Volkswagen considers this to be one part. So this part here is made out of ultra high molecular weight polyethylene, and then the gray color is because it's got an oil component added to it. They call it oil filled. We also make a Teflon version that's much higher temperature rating. The UHMW has about the same temperature rating as the polyurethane, except the polyurethane, when you're up at high temperatures, it tends to dry out, crack, and fall apart. The UHMW, being that it's a thermoplastic, if you got it hot enough, it's going to melt, but it won't turn brittle. This is a thermosetting plastic, and when you get it hot, it loses all the plasticizers, and like I say, it gets hard and brittle, and then it starts to crack and fall apart. The Teflon, on the other hand, is good up to like 500 Fahrenheit. I mean, you can put a blowtorch to this and it might turn a little black on the outside. We have the Teflon for people that have, say, turbocharged engines, or that are doing autocrossing, racing, things like that, where you've got a lot of heat. We start with a chunk of material like this, cut it to length, and then we have to drill a hole. And when you're machining plastic, you have to adjust the drill bit size for the material you're making, because we're trying to fit this shift rod. Well, this is what's called the relay shaft, but it's the same 14 millimeter diameter as the shift rod. So in order to make a part that fits here in the UHMW, you've got to drill a little bit oversized, because this material is slightly stretchy and it'll stretch around the drill bit. So you run a drill bit through and then it shrinks back down. So if you drill exactly the right size hole, it'll be too tight. On the other hand, Teflon is a much harder plastic. It's not got the stretch to it. And with this one, you drill the exact size. It's more like metal. This is a special drill bit designed just for plastic. It's got a very sharp point. You can see in that hole, it's shiny inside. Yeah, so now we're ready to drill the Teflon blanks. And fine for that, just a regular 118 degree drill bit works okay for that. Teflon drills a lot more like metal. a really nice hole just with a regular 118 degree drill bit. So this was the exact size drill bit and the exact size here, and you get a really nice sliding fit and about the same amount of play. UHMW with the oil filled, or the Teflon, which gives you the higher temperature resistance and a little lower coefficient of friction. It's about half, I think. And compared to the polyurethane, this is really high friction, where these two are much lower, and you don't need to add any grease or anything to these because they're self-lubricating. You can add grease if you want, but it's not required. Yeah, so now that we have all the center holes drilled, we mount this on a spindle, and we have to cut the outside shape there. So we've got to turn this cylinder into this spherical bearing shape. This is a shop-made tool that we came up with. It just matches the profile of the part. We don't cut this middle section because it's just there for flexibility. This is not a flexible part. It really doesn't need to be flexible in there. But anyway, this is our shop-made tool. Ground this thing to fit the profile, and you might think that looks kind of like a file. Well, it turns out at one time I broke this file, and that was the piece on the end. Actually, the break was almost the perfect shape, but this one I just sharpened it up, put a nice cutting edge on there and a little bit of relief, and this is now a shop-made tool that take a cylinder and convert it into that. Another little shop-made tool that I put together, this spindle, and the important thing is this has like a little bit of knurling under the end of the spindle there. The shank of the spindle is the same diameter as the hole, but the knurling is a little bit too big, and that's what holds this thing on and keeps it from spinning. And then we put a backer piece on there, a couple of washers, and then I made this hand nut for the end that I can just tighten down. I used to use like a regular hex nut, but then you had to get wrenches out to work this thing. You have this in and out of the spindle a couple of times, so it was just a hassle dealing with wrenches all the time, so I made the little knurled hand nut. And let's see, I think we're ready to go, so hopefully we can see the cut here. Okay, so we've cut the profile on one end, and now we've got to take it out of the spindle. That's why having no tools required makes it really easy. You can hold all the pieces in your hand, and you got to pop it loose, turn it around, spacer on, washers, and the hand nut, and then tighten it down, put it back in. Have a live center in there to hold it. You have to work off of the end of the tool and where it hits the end of the plastic. That's kind of your cutting depth. So again, you take it out. You actually have to test fit this. So I take it off the spindle, and then I put it in the bracket. And you can see that one's a little bit too long. It's like jammed in there too tight. So I've got to take it out. You can always take a little more off. It's hard to put material back on. Doesn't take much to bring it down. Yeah, there we go. Look at that. We just got a perfect fit in there. So that's the slight difference with the original part. That's probably why they have the groove in there, is that this can squish a little bit. So they make this a little oversized, and then when they rivet it in the bracket, it compresses a little bit. But with a rigid plastic like that, there's no give. So you got to make the part the right size. Yeah, so there's a new part. This is a brand new bushing, or it's never been used. This is what one looks like after years of use. It gets really discolored, and you know, it gets kind of mushy, You know, it's a lot squishier than the new part. You know, it's been soaked with oil, and the lip is getting kind of brittle. This one isn't in too bad a shape, but you can see how it's in there. It's falling apart. You know, chunks of plastic are falling off because these have little ridges inside that grip the shaft. But once that plastic gets brittle and starts falling off, if we look at this one, it's a lot looser fit on there because it's wearing out on the inside compared to this part. It's like, you know, that's like a tight fit. You know, I got to really push and pull on there. But yeah, we got the lawn guys across the street are going, so I'll wrap this up. Check out the video description for more information. And as always, thanks for watching.